achieve clarity and systems before you achieve freedom. Always focus on this, focus on the systems building, because this is where you, as the owner, understand what you need and you can lead your company. If you are letting somebody else sell you on the idea of some sort of magic bullet and all you need to do is follow my three-piece formula and you're going to have success, I'm telling you, that's this is this is where so many people get taken off course. So yesterday, I introduced the idea of a tight ship or running a tight ship. Today, I want to walk you through the chain that makes it all work, right? Think of it like the anchor chain holding a vessel in position. If you miss one link of the chain, or if one link, just one simple link breaks, the entire ship starts to drift away. That's what we're going to talk about right now. So, what are the four links of the chain? First one is discipline. And discipline doesn't mean it, here's, I'm going to define it for you. Discipline is the ability or the willingness to define things, right? So that's defining roles, defining uh, outcomes, defining standards, defining the calendar. This is the work that's really hard for founders because, especially for me, I found this super hard because for a long time, I resisted trying to define something by defining me or defining my business. Like, what's the one thing that I do for people? I've had multiple iterations of multiple different businesses across my last 6 years. And a lot of those early failures was due to the fact that I wasn't willing to sit down and clearly define it. So that's the discipline. It's the discipline to say, this is what we're doing. This is the role that this person does. This is the outcome that I'm looking for, right? That willingness to define is so important and it takes discipline. So that's why I say discipline is the first link of the chain. Now, once you have discipline, the next link is going to be clarity. And clarity is taking definition in one step further, and it's actually writing it down. It's also starting to understand, all right, what is our North Star? What is the premise? What do we exist for? What does this business exist for? Who is the person that I help the most? Right. And this is where the clarity is going to bring you the insights, and it's going to help you to start crafting the procedures or the processes and that operating system that you're going to build for your team to be able to execute. So, got to have discipline to be able to sit down and define things. Then you're going to bring that discipline is going to bring you clarity on what it is that you're trying to achieve. What's your North Star? Then it's going to go to systems, and systems create the outcomes. So once you want discipline, then you have the clarity, leads you to the systems. The systems are what the box that everybody else is going to be operating in. Your entire team needs this so well defined that it can start to run on its own. This is where you start to see things, the burden starts to get lifted off of your shoulders because you're not carrying all that weight anymore. Now the systems are that taking that lift off of you, right? So now you're going to start to see that the systems are going to have an effect because your team knows what to do and they already know the standard in which to do it. And the systems produces outcomes, right? That's the whole point. The system produces repeatable outcomes for you, for your business and for your customers and your clients. Once you have a repeatable outcome and a common customer base, now you have freedom because now the system is operating without you, right? It doesn't require you to always be having your hand on the wheel of the vessel of your ship, of your business, guiding it. It can run on autopilot. That is the whole point, right? That's the point of everything, is to have freedom. So eh, I want to paint a picture here, spend just a couple minutes talking about how a ship, give you a little bit peek behind the curtain of how ships operate. Cause I used to operate on ships. I worked on ships for 12 years as a US merchant sailor, worked for an oil tanking company. I used to transfer petroleum products all around the globe. And it's a quasi military environment. That's how I like to call it. It's a quasi military environment. Even though it's not technically a military operation, it actually functions very much in that military hierarchy type of system where there's a very clear chain of command. Everybody knows what it is that they're going to do. The entire industry is regulated, heavily regulated, and so there's a lot of procedures. It's called safety management systems, right? So people on the ship have their this is the rules and the regulations. This is the box that every merchant mariner has to operate in, and you take that box and you fulfill it, right? And you go through the process. You have processes, you have checklists, you have procedure guides, you have best practices, you have industry updates, you have a constantly training modules, you have continuous improvement, you have reviews, you have check-ins, you have daily huddles, you have weekly reviews, you have quarterly reviews, like all of it designed to do one thing, right? All of the system is designed to do one thing, and that's to take cargo from port A, move it safely and efficiently to port B. That is it. That is the whole reason why a ship exists, is to move cargo from point A to point B safely and efficiently. Simple, right? But there are volumes and volumes and volumes on the how, and the regulation in which it's built. The entire industry is built around is so well defined that there's almost zero room for ambiguity, right? Now, of course, something always comes up as the one offs, right? There's always, everybody says, oh, what about those weird circumstances, right? Of course, this is life. This is real life. It doesn't live on a spreadsheet. Things are going to happen. But the way you work through those is that you have a system for being able to operate even in those extreme one off cases. You have a process that you follow when this happens. On a ship, it was always like the drills we always used to have for catastrophes. Like, what if you had a total hull breach, right? What if you were taking on water, the ship is going down? What if you hit an iceberg? What if the engine room was on fire? What if your cargo was on fire? What if you had a medical incident on a ship, right? All these different emergency case situations had procedures and processes in place that the crew was drilled on repeatedly on how to function. So even under surprising situations or those emergency situations, they already had the processes they needed to be able to function, right? And this is your goal, right? This is the goal of you as the business owner, is to have a business that can function whether you're on deck of your ship and you're in the office, or if you're out of the office, right? If you're on deck or below deck, as we call it at sea, right? Below deck in your cabin. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're at. The ship is going to function, and every part of the crew knows exactly what they're doing and when to do it and how to do it. And they know where to get the information if they have a question. So all of this is going back to the chains, right? Let's review the change one more time. Discipline to define things, roles, outcomes, uh, responsibilities. What is it that you're trying to do? Clarity. The discipline brings clarity, right? Now I understand exactly who I help, what my business does, what's the big goal, and then what are the individual goals or individual milestones or mile markers that are going to help build us towards that achievable result. And then you're going to build the system that your crew is going to operate in. Now you have discipline, you have clarity, and now you have systems that produce repeatable results. Just like a crew on a ship has the repeatable result of taking cargo from point A to point B safely and efficiently. And then all of those three chains lead you to having repeatable outcomes, which produces freedom. And freedom is where you want to go. Now, here's where people get messed up, is everybody wants the freedom, but they don't necessarily want to start up here with the discipline. This was my problem, right? I'm talking to myself too. I'm talking to my younger man self. 6 years ago when we started, I did not have the discipline to have the clarity that produces systems that produce repeatable outcomes. I wanted the freedom, but I didn't want to spend the time and the discipline. So if you're anything like me, I can tell you that that doesn't work. You have to start with discipline. Discipline, clarity, systems, freedom. Now, everybody wants to try to sell the freedom. They want to sell you on the freedom. Just Buy my AI automation thing and you're going to have freedom. Buy my leads generation software and you're going to have freedom. Buy my, whatever it is, fill in the blank, XYZ thing, and you're going to achieve freedom. Everybody's selling you the outcome of freedom, but they're not actually getting you. That what they're doing is they're selling you that quick fix, thinking that, oh, this is the issue. This is all I need to do is fix this one thing, and then you have freedom. And I'm telling you, if you do that, you're going to be disappointed every time. You need to start discipline, clarity, systems, then freedom. Because once you have clarity and once you're at the clarity and the systems building phase, now you know exactly what you need to be able to achieve freedom. But until you know exactly what the systems you need to operate, your freedom will always be elusive. And this took me a long time to understand. So please, I'm spending a couple more seconds on this because it's important. Always achieve clarity and systems before you achieve freedom. Always focus on this. Focus on the systems building because this is where you, as the owner, understand what you need and you can lead your company. If you are letting somebody else sell you on the idea of some sort of magic bullet and all you need to do is follow my 3-piece formula and you're going to have success, I'm telling you, this is where so many people get taken off course. And I use that as a pun as well as intentional here, that it means it rings true. Don't let somebody else sell you on the idea that it's a quick fix. Do the hard work, build the system, lead your company from here to get to the freedom, right? But don't let somebody else sell you on something that you think that they think that you need because they're going to make money when you buy from them. Don't do that. Don't do that mistake. So stay with me tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to go one step deeper where we're going to talk about where most people have clarity problems with their people, right? A lot of times tomorrow we're going to talk about how most people problems they have inside their business is actually a clarity problem. We're going to dive in tomorrow. So stay with us tomorrow and we'll hope to see you there.